Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing What Are Your Fruits episode 2. So, what is joy? It says if you search up on Google that joy is a feeling of great pleasure and happiness. But truthfully, as it says in the Bible, joy can be known as trusting in God and still feeling contentment even through the circumstances that we go through and still having our deep connection with Him, knowing that He's always going to make a way in the end. So joy can sometimes be compared or aligned with happiness, but joy is a much longer lasting thing than happiness, and it's something that fills us up and makes us whole. It isn't temporary as happiness is. Happiness is usually something that we feel for a moment when things are going good in our life and circumstances, but joy is something that no matter what we go through, we will be able to be filled up with it and still have that wholeness of joy that we get even when things are going wrong, even when something great is happening, and it isn't temporary. Joy is also given to us by the Holy Spirit. It says in 1 Thessalonians 1:6, "You became imitators of us and of the Lord, for you welcomed the message in the midst of severe suffering with the joy given by the Holy Spirit." When we come into connection with the Holy Spirit, with God, and fully have Him in our hearts, in our lives, we will be able to be given the fruit of the Spirit and be able to display them in us instead of going back to our emotions and reacting in the ways that our flesh might want to. Instead, we can use these fruits to help us through whatever circumstance we might go through. James 1:2-3. "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." This helps us to learn to depend on God in any sort of circumstance. That yes, we will still go through sufferings. I say this all the time, but we can have faith and just actually be filled with joy, knowing that all these things that we go through is to help us just become better and help us to fully rely on God rather than ourselves, and to know that He's always with us through our entire lives. And we know that if we persevere through this and keep going, keep pushing through, that in the end, it's all going to be worth it. When we come to comprehend what joy is and fully try to learn it and understand it and have that in our lives day in and day out, we will be able to have inner contentment and be satisfied. Our responses will just turn out to be different. When we are given bad news about something or things are just going wrong on a certain day, our responses are then better. Rather than acting out on whatever it is going around us, we can have joy knowing that all we need to do is trust God and know that He always has a way, and know that this isn't the end and this isn't going to be long lasting, that in the end God's always going to make a way for something better. So we don't need to focus on the things that are happening around us that certain day at that certain time, but know that God always has a way. As in Galatians 5:16, "So I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh." And then verse 25, "Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit." God is the source. The Holy Spirit is the source to just everything. We should take the time to fully practice the things that we've learned in the Bible and fully display them and act out on them, so that we will be able to live by the Spirit and act out by the Spirit. And just knowing that everything has a purpose. So we do not need to be afraid. We do not need to feel like we are let down, because in the Spirit, we will not act in the way that our flesh used to or our flesh wants us to. We will be able to walk differently, act differently like the Spirit does. A lot of times in the Bible, it always just says a lot about rejoicing. I know a lot in the Psalms, because I've been reading that. It just always says rejoice, rejoice, or have joy, because when we have that joy that God gives us, we will just be able to feel better each day, feel better as a person. And when we display the joy that God has given us to others, others will want to experience that joy as well. We can only have joy through Christ. Things of this world are all temporary, but with God, nothing is temporary. We know that His love is lasting forever. His grace, His mercy is all lasting forever, and He just wants to be with us. And we can know that in Him we can be changed. We can experience the joy, the love, the peace, everything that He has to offer, and that we can go on throughout the world just being different, just being better. So let's figure out a way to put this into practice. When there are just bad things happening around us, or when something good is happening, be filled with joy. Rejoice for the Lord, because He's amazing. He's awesome. And know that everything happens for a reason. We will go through sufferings, but we can know that we can have joy, that God is always going to make a way out for us, and He is always with us. So we do not need to let the things around us get to us. So that's it for today. I hope you guys got something from it. It was a little bit shorter. If you have any other things you want to say about this, feel free to comment that down below, and have a blessed week. Bye.